Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Bottom Up podcast. My name is Ollie. I'm with my friend Tibbs.
Hello there.
Hello. How you doing, mate?
I'm okay. We've
Yeah.
had a few technical problems again today, haven't we?
Yeah. Oh, God. I don't know. I mean, we're using slightly new software. I've got a new mic, so it's all been a little bit haywire the last 20 minutes or so, but hopefully we're up and running now.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you can hear us and we're coming through okay.
Yeah, we're getting
Yeah.
a little bit of Skype lagging. You're cutting out a little bit still, but I
Am
think
I?
but it's good enough that we can carry on with. I think
Okay.
we'll soldier on. They'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. All right. Yeah, we've got a fair bit to catch up on, I guess. I'm in my new house now.
Oh,
Uh,
brilliant.
yeah. All went fine. You know, I haven't quite got my little game room set up. I've got everything in it, and I've kind of unpacked most things, but everything is just everywhere, and it's a tiny room, so it's all a bit kind of everything is there, but I don't necessarily know where everything is. But yeah, so I won't be plugging in many consoles at the moment and firing anything up right now. But yeah, we'll get there. I'll get there definitely. But it's great. You know, the move-in went well. We're really happy with it. Lovely little house for us. Yeah, very
That's
excited.
excellent. Yeah,
Yeah,
all your consoles and everything made it there safely then.
they did. Yeah, I haven't found any disasters damage-wise.
Brilliant.
Haven't found any cracked cases or anything. You know, so.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. Um, yeah. So, well, we've got a few things to discuss. I think we've it's just sort of general what we've been playing now, but also, well, we're going to be talking about the Firemen,
Yes.
which is our book club pick this episode. But before that, we need to there's some E3 discussion to take place. I think since we've had E3 between the last episode and
Yeah.
this one. We talked briefly on Twitter, and you said there's a few things that you found interesting or anything like that. So, do you want to discuss anything?
Kind of. I think my enthusiasm for it's waned a little bit since E3 proper.
Mm,
Um, I don't think there were. I mean, there's lots of big AAA stuff, obviously. Last of Us Part Two and um, a new Elder Scrolls game announced and Fallout
mm,
76 and lots of big AAA stuff.
mm.
Um, I don't know if there was much sort of quirky stuff that I tend to prefer the
No.
more sort of offbeat things. Um, did you ever play? I think you tweeted about it recently, Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah. Yes, I bought that recently on the Steam sale.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
The sequel to that was announced, which is
that's right.
I'm really
Yes.
pleased that's getting a sequel.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. It
Um,
looks like a really fun game. I'm looking forward to playing it.
it
Yeah.
is. It's a really good little game.
Mm.
I was surprised. I didn't think it did that well. So for it to be getting a sequel, I think
Mm.
I'm really pleased with that. So
Yeah, it's good
that was
news.
good
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm struggling to think. I don't think I'm struggling to think of what else really got my attention. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, that was my feelings from E3 as well, really. There wasn't, I just don't think there was a lot there, really. There's quite a lot of AAA stuff, but it was kind of fairly sort of predictable stuff, I would say. Nothing kind of, as you say, sort of quirky or, interesting. Not much anyway. I mean, you saw sort of glimpses of various sort of nice looking indie games and things, I
Yeah.
think, but, nothing to really sink your teeth into, really. And then I felt the Nintendo Direct was really, really disappointing, personally. I don't know how you felt.
I think it was good if you like Smash Brothers.
Oh, it was great if you like Smash Brothers. If you like Smash Brothers, it's the Nintendo Direct for you. But
Yeah.
if you don't,
Uh,
then it really, really wasn't.
I never got into Smash Brothers.
No,
I just never clicked with me. So
no.
I'll play it. Yeah, I'll have some fun with it, but I don't think it's going to be a mainstay of my Switch library. I don't think so.
No, I mean, we talked about this in the interim. I love the concept of it, like getting all these different characters from various Nintendo franchises and various other franchises all together in this sort of massive game. On paper, sounds awesome. And I love the sort of reveals they did. Like last time, they revealed like Ryu from Street Fighter and like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And that's all good. It's just I just can't follow the fighting. I just don't. I just look at people playing it, and I just do not get what's going
It's a
on.
bit hectic.
It's
Yeah.
so hectic. It's
Chaotic.
so there's people like flying around all over the place and numbers flashing up and like crazy stuff happening, and I don't know. It baffles me.
Yeah.
I like the Wii one because that actually had a little platform game
It
in it,
did.
the Subspace
The
Emissary.
Subspace Emissary. Yeah.
Yeah,
MSLE.
yeah. And I enjoyed that because that was something I could do. But whenever I tried the fighting, I would just get my ass handed to me, whether it was
Yeah.
on the computer or online or whatever. So yeah, and the fact that they devoted so much time in that Nintendo Direct to Smash Bros, literally going through every character, it seemed.
It's yeah. It's literally, and it's every character from every Smash Brothers game so far, plus some
Yeah,
new ones, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
which
everything
is
from everything.
which is great, that's fine. But I mean, I don't think you needed to go through every single character, especially since most of them look the same as what they did as how they looked in whenever they were in it before.
Yeah, I'm just having a look for what else was announced at E3. List of E3 games 2018. Okay, because there's bound to be something on there that I've missed.
Hmm.
It can't just be.
Well, it happened during my moving week, so I couldn't really put a lot of time in as things happened. But I
Yeah.
kind of looked at things retrospectively.
Yeah, I should have looked this up beforehand, really, but here we go. So, Adventure Time, Pirates of the Enchiridion. Are you an Adventure Time fan? Do you watch Adventure Time?
Um, no, it looks quite fun though. I've never seen an episode, but
It's good. It's a very, very good cartoon.
yeah, it's one of those
The
cartoons that's
games
for.
are not so good.
Oh, really?
Generally,
Okay.
yeah. Generally speaking, the games don't hold up to the standard of the show. But
But it's funny to say I've made an Adventure Time game.
really,
Yeah, because well, my day job is to make sort of HTML5 games for
yeah,
various kids brands and stuff, and one of them was Adventure Time. I've made a very sort of simple kind of auto-scrolling kind of platformer where you play as this character. I don't know, Marceline, I think it's called.
yeah, yeah.
Is it he or she?
It's a vampire
She,
queen.
yeah, she's got this guitar and she like plays music, and the vibrations come out, and you've got to knock these penguins back and stop them from hitting the two main characters as they walk along below it. And meanwhile, is it the Ice King?
Yeah,
He's like firing like ice thunderbolts at you. It's a
that's
very simple
amazing.
game, but it's yeah, I
I
quite enjoyed
hadn't
doing it
I
actually.
had no idea that you did that. That's
No,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. Occasionally, yeah. I mean, we do get some pretty cool brands in now and then. I've done BBC stuff as well and that kind of thing. So it's quite a nice job to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Send me a link to that. I'd like to play that.
yeah. All right, yeah. It's very
Yeah,
simple, but it's quite fun. I was playing it this week actually. I had to do a little tweak to it.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Anyway,
Ah,
carry on.
yeah,
On
yeah.
that little
So,
side.
Adventure Time. Got something called After Party. No idea what that is.
Hmm.
Anthem. Have you seen much about Anthem?
Yeah, I did see that actually. It's kind of like a flying mech. Is it a mech game or a
It,
robots or something like that, isn't it?
it's like a guy with a jetpack. But I
Yeah.
don't know if you ever played. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Dark Void on the 360 and PS3.
No
Um,
idea.
it just reminds me of that. The Dark Void was you're this guy. I think I can't remember the story, to be honest. I remember enjoying the game. A lot of people didn't. It got panned sort of critically, I think. Um, but it was kind of like a guy jetpack. You fly around. And are you still there? You've gone all quiet. I think you might have gone.
Hey,
Hello.
yeah. Sorry about that. I think my internet just busted, but
That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think we seem to be back now,
We
so
are
hopefully
back.
it'll remain stable. Um,
Yes.
I
So,
I can't hear you very well now. You're quite a bit faint.
really?
Maybe I can.
Oh dear.
don't we just pick up from the Anthem thing? If you just say Anthem, have you heard much about Anthem? Something like that.
Okay.
We should be able to mix them back together because that's pretty much where we ended up.
Yeah, yeah. We'll patch it together somehow.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Anthem. Have you heard about Anthem?
Yeah, I did hear about it. Was I did see it briefly. It's some sort of mech game or something, or the characters in mechs, something like that.
I don't know if they're in mechs. I think they're just sort of on little jetpacks. But
Okay.
it reminds me very much of a game called Dark Void on PS3 and 360. Did you ever play that?
No, I didn't. No.
It's good. It's a good game. Not many people liked it. It was sort of critically panned, I suppose.
Mm.
But yeah, you could just flew around, shot people, but you could switch between flying about on your jetpack or going on foot
Mm.
at will, really.
Mm-hmm.
But the sort of physics of the way that in Anthem, the way people seem to be sort of flying about on these jetpacks, it puts me very much in the mind of Dark Void. So gameplay
Okay.
wise, I'm sure it's going to be completely different, but yeah, it puts me in mind of that at least.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. It looked sort of vaguely interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking down the list, Battletoads, a new
Yeah, I
Battletoads
saw that was
game.
coming back. There wasn't actually any footage of it though, was there? Is
No,
that
I
right?
don't think there was. No.
No, no, no. That's quite interesting then.
Yeah, I'm not sure anyone was particularly asking for a new Battletoads game seriously, but it'd be interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I played it once briefly and got creamed on it very, very early on. I
yeah,
think it's known for its difficulty, isn't it?
it is. It is. I think I don't know. I don't know if it's deserving of its sort of classic status, really. But
Mm.
I don't know. People seem to have fond memories of it. Um, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Did you ever play the first Beyond Good and Evil?
Um, I think I have it on my 360 as part of the games with gold thing. I think I downloaded it once.
It's a really good game. It's well
Is
worth
it?
playing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's a really good game.
What sort of game is it? Is it like a
So
platformer, I think, is it?
platform
Or
adventure. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'm really dubious about the sequel
Oh, right.
because it seems to be like artistically and stylistically it's completely different. You wouldn't think it was a sequel to Beyond Good and Evil at all.
Okay.
And like the trailers that they've shown, it's all really impressive, and I'm sure it's going to be a really good game. But there's all this swearing and effing and jeffing, and it's like that none of that was really in the first game. It wasn't that kind of game.
Mm,
It wasn't an edgy sort of adult orientated game.
mm.
And I don't know at what point between the release of that game and this one they decided, what we need is more swearing and more violence in Beyond Good and Evil.
It's
It's
bizarre,
like
isn't it?
it's a
That sounds
really
like a really
it's a
odd thing to
really
do.
it's a really odd change of tone, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I mean, one of the subquests, like an ongoing subquest in the first game, was documenting wildlife, and you had a camera because you played as this character Jade, who's a photojournalist photographer,
Mm,
and you had to take photographs of all the wildlife on this planet. Um, and I can't imagine that kind of sub game being in Beyond Good and Evil 2, judging by the screenshots we've got. It's just like it's just so tonally different. It's really strange.
yeah. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. Um what else have we got? Ooh, Command and Conquer, the for mobile.
Sorry, the Conquer what?
For mobile phones, iOS and
Oh.
Android.
Oh, I see. Is that like a port or is it like a new version?
No, it's a new version.
Okay.
And
I
it's not looking pretty it's not looking
okay.
good.
I had the first version of that on the Saturn. I quite enjoyed that actually.
Yeah.
I'm not really an RTS kind of guy, but I quite like that.
Yeah, a lot of the RTS kind of guys are really hating on the mobile port at the moment. Is
Mm,
not
mm.
looking good at all. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy coming to Xbox One, Switch, and PC, which is actually out now. I
Yeah.
bought the Switch version, so
Oh, do you? Nice.
yeah, that's
Mm.
good.
Yeah, I got it on PS4. Really good. Really good, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Cuphead DLC for Cuphead.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did quite like the look of that, but I heard it's like really, really hard, and I thought, well, I could buy that, but I was probably just get frustrated with it really, really quickly, so I
Yeah.
didn't go for it in the end.
I bought it day one because
Did you?
I loved the art style of it and I loved
Yeah,
what
I
they
was
were
really
trying to
impressed
do with
by it.
it.
Yeah.
And I played it and it just didn't click with me.
Oh, that's a shame.
I just suck at it. That's what it boils
Yeah,
down
that's
to.
that's what I thought would happen to me as well. I must be
Yeah.
to be honest. Yeah.
And some people have got the patience. They love going through it and getting everything pixel perfect
Yeah.
and you know really
Yeah.
honing their skills on it. But it's just not for me. If you like that kind of thing, then it's a brilliant game. It's superb, but
Mm,
it's just not for me really.
yeah. Yeah.
This is like a recurring theme looking down the list of games here. I mean, there's lots of stuff where they're perfectly good games if you like them, but
Mm.
they're just not really for me. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my sort of overriding view as well.
Yeah,
Um,
Dead or Alive 6.
Yeah, I've got that on my list actually. I have liked the Dead or Alive series.
Yeah, I like the
That
Dead
and
or Alive
sort of
series.
I'm not very good at fighting games, um, but Dead or Alive and Soul Calibur, which is also has a sixth version coming out.
Yes.
I quite enjoy because they're sort of they're button mashers, and they're sort of really fluid, and you can I feel quite powerful doing them because like the controls are fairly simple. It's easy. It's one of those things that's easy to pick up and play, quite enjoyable but difficult to master.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if I'll pick up the sixth version. I've got quite a few of the others, but yeah, that's
I was
got
gonna say I'll
that.
probably pick it up because I've got all the others except for the beach volleyball spin-offs.
Mm.
I think I've got two of those actually. I haven't got the third one, the PS4 one that they released. Um, but yeah, I've got all the Dead or Alive's up until then, and they're always good fun. So
Yeah.
I'll probably pick that one up as well.
Yeah.
Um,
It's good to see they're still releasing sort of
yeah,
quite traditional kind of Japanese fighting games like that,
yeah.
to be honest.
Because there was a time there was a while where it looked like Dead or Alive was pretty much forgotten about, wasn't
That's
it? There,
right,
there
yeah.
was
After four, I
yeah there
think
was
five took quite a while to come out,
it did because there was
and
meant to be Dead or Alive Online. I don't know if that actually released in like China or Japan or somewhere, but it never came
yeah,
west.
yeah, yeah.
So
So I'm
yeah, it's
glad
good to
that's
see it's still going. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Do you wanna?
I'm just having a quick scan through. Obviously, we won't go through all of it. Cyberpunk 2077, the new RPG. I think we're assuming it's going to be an action RPG from the guys who made The Witcher.
Mhm.
I can't say too much about it because no one knows anything about it yet. It's just teasers and teasers and not much concrete
Yeah,
details about what it is. So
that's quite a lot of the case the case for quite a lot of these actually. It's just sort of teasers and kind of oh it's coming, but
yeah,
not
I
actually
mean,
much to talk about.
here we go. I mean, the highlight of the show, I think, undoubtedly, Farming Simulator 2019. You know,
Hey, if you're into that sort of thing, fair enough.
that's the main event as far as I'm concerned. You know, I just,
I, I'm that's the bit. I'm not a simulator guy at all. I don't really get the appeal.
I know, but this one's got a
Um,
dog in it, so you know, day one purchase.
Day
No,
one purchase.
I'm mocking, but I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're
Yeah,
into it,
if you're,
they actually released like a tractor controller, like a tractor peripheral for the PC version.
did they
So
really?
yeah, so people must be really into it for them to go ahead and like develop a proper peripheral set
Mm.
for it.
I do wonder who that person is though, because if they're into farming, then they're probably kind of a farmer already,
Yeah,
so they don't really need a simulator.
you could just do it. Yeah,
I mean, how many are there many aspiring farmers that don't have access to the machinery but want to try it out? I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
there are. If
I
you
don't
are an
know.
aspiring farmer, please do get in touch.
But maybe it's like you know you've got a car, you've got like a little Peugeot, but you play Gran Turismo because you want to imagine yourself driving you know the supercars.
Mm.
Maybe it's kind of like that kind of thing. They've got a combine harvester, but they want
Yeah.
to dream about you know the Ferrari of combine harvesters, and they can live that dream through Farming Simulator.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can't discount that, surely.
No, I mean,
No.
um, I've just spotted one that Gears Pop. Have you seen that? The
No.
the kind, the pop vinyl collectible
Oh yeah.
figurines.
Oh yes,
Um,
those. Yes, no, I know what you mean. The Gears of War.
the Gears of
Those.
War,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the game based on Gears of War with that. I'm not
Oh,
into
sorry.
that.
There's a whole game of that based
Yeah,
on those figures. I thought you just meant the
yes.
figures themselves. There's a whole game. Oh, I didn't realize that.
No,
Okay.
no, they're doing a game with all the super deformed characters based on
Hmm.
the pop vinyl figures.
Wow. That's odd.
Yes.
That's a really odd mix of two brands, really, isn't it? They don't really
Yeah.
go together, do they?
They don't,
Or-
as far as I'm concerned.
no.
Because I really like the Gears of War games. I mean,
Yeah.
they're they're not the deepest games in the world, but I always enjoy my time with them. I always enjoy playing them. So, Gears of War 5, I was quite excited to hear is coming. So, but yeah, Gears Pop, less excited about that.
Hmm.
Hitman 2, are you a fan of the Hitman games?
No, I never played them.
Oh, you should play them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
seriously. Well, at least play Hitman Blood Money. If you like puzzle games in particular,
Hmm.
the whole game is a glorified puzzle game basically.
Oh right. Okay.
And it's the later games lose their way a little bit, but the most recent Hitman and Hitman 2 look like they're starting to get back on track. But I mean, particularly with Blood Money, you're given a target that you have to eliminate,
Hmm.
and you're given pretty much complete freedom on this huge map to do it however you want. And
Hmm.
there's so many different ways that you can complete it. There's sort of environmental ways you can do it. You can set up booby traps and rig things, and or you can just snipe them from somewhere. But the amount of depth in it is incredible. It's a really really good game. So
Okay.
yeah, I recommend checking it out at some point.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay.
Speed through this a bit. Metal Wolf Chaos getting a re-release.
I saw you tweet about this. I've never heard of this game. It sounds
Oh,
mental.
it is mental. It's amazing. It's so yeah. It's just it's brilliant. You're the president of the United States in a mech,
Yeah.
trying to defeat a coup d'état, and that's basically it. You're the president of the United States in a giant mech.
Hmm.
There's not much more to say than
I
that.
think it's crying out for a sort of modern remake with Donald Trump in it. Do you-
It's so good though. I mean, the it was Xbox exclusive, and it was only
Yeah.
in Japan, and
Yeah.
it's one of those games you can get it on eBay, but you're looking at about 200 quid to get a copy
Wow.
imported.
Yeah.
So you know
Yeah.
what the fact that more people are going to get a chance to play it is
Oh
really
yeah. I
good.
mean, original emulation is not great at all. So that's buying it is pretty much the only way to play it until now.
Yeah,
So that's all good news. Yeah. Whatever the game
yeah.
is, really brilliant.
Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah. I don't. I've never played the Resident Evils.
Oh, dude.
I'm not a big fan of horror in general.
No, I am. I
Yeah.
quite like the Resident Evil games. The
Mm.
early Resident Evils. Again, it's one of those series that's been around so long. There's been a lot of ups and downs on it. The Spyro trilogy, Spyro Reignited.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get that for my she's a big fan of Spyro, so
Yeah.
I've never really played them,
Oh,
but again, like Crash Bandicoot, I'm going to give them a try. I'll probably
yeah.
like them.
Yeah, they're
Mm.
really good games. Looking forward to that.
Mm.
Team Sonic Racing.
Yes, I want to talk about this.
Yes.
Um, I'm quite excited about this one.
Yeah, I am too.
It's because me and the wife play. Well, we played the Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed and the one before that, and Mario Kart 8, and we kind of play them co-op anyway in a way because we will start like a Grand Prix, and the winner of the first round, the other person will like support them through that, so we'll make sure that we win and we unlock it and stuff.
Yeah.
So to have like that kind of racing game that actually has that as a function in it, and you're sort of racing as a team, is really exciting actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's. I think there's been some mixed responses to it so far for various reasons. Some of them just saying that they don't like the fact that there aren't any other Sega characters in it. Um,
Mm,
yeah, but I mean, I don't really mind because I'm sold on the concept. So as far as
yeah.
I'm concerned, it could have anyone in it really.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the Sonic racing games of recent years,
Mm.
I mean, I'm talking Sonic and All Stars Racing. Really, I'm
Mm,
not Sonic Riders or whatever
mm.
those sort of hoverboard things were. The Sonic All Star Racing and Transformed were really good games.
Oh, they're great. And the fact that it's the same developer, Sumo Digital, they know
Yeah,
racing games. They did Outrun 2006, didn't they?
they did. Yeah.
So, there's going to be a good. I'm sure it's going to be a good
I
like
think
track design. I think
I think they
it's
did
got to.
the PC ports of Crazy Taxi as well. I'm not
Oh, right,
sure.
okay.
I need to check
Mm.
that. But yeah, I think they did that as well.
These guys know their stuff. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
that's.
Yeah, I'm
It'll
looking
be
forward
fun.
to that. I think that's going to
Yeah.
be a good time. So,
Mm.
I think looking at the list there, I mean, there are a few other things scattered here and there, but I think those are the main things that jump out at me. There's
Yeah.
a few big ones that I'm obviously leaving off. That people are going to be saying, "Well, why aren't you mentioning that?" But you know, we've only got limited time, I suppose, as well. But I think those are the things. Oh, there is one more. I would say Tetris Effect. I really curious about that.
Oh, I didn't see anything about that. What's that about? Well, Tetris,
It's
obviously, but what specifically?
Yeah, it is Tetris, but it's kind of. Did you played Res on Dreamcast or
Mm.
PS2?
Yeah.
Um, it's the guy who did Res and Lumines or Luminous on
Mm.
the PSP,
Mm. Yeah.
and it's kind of Tetris but with a musical slant to it as well. I think
Oh,
so.
okay.
It's
That sounds
kind of
interesting.
because all of Res and Lumines or Lumines, however that one's pronounced, um, they kind of entwine the soundtrack with the gameplay itself,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's taking that kind of approach to Tetris. Um, it looks really interesting. It's really difficult to describe. I would have a look at the trailer when you get a chance, and
Okay.
yeah, it's really interesting. There's a VR mode as well, which is I
Mm.
can't imagine Tetris in VR, but there's going to be a VR mode.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm quite
I,
interested in that one.
I'll definitely look that one up. That sounds really interesting, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other one I have on my list is the Starlink Battle for Atlas for the Switch.
Yeah, I don't know much about that, but I have
No.
seen on my Amazon it keeps prompting me to pre-order the special edition with Fox McCloud.
Yeah. That's what caught my eye because I'm a Star Fox fan.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a sort of an aerial shooter, sort of a space shooter, but it's a toys to life thing. I didn't realize this until I looked at it
Oh,
into it
that makes
further.
sense. Yeah.
So you put either Joy-Con on the side of this connector thing, and on the connector you can put like a toy of your spaceship, and you can attach different like guns and stuff to it, and all these different. You can customize it completely, and then you'll see your customized ship in the game and be able to play it. And I
Right.
thought, that sounds quite interesting. The game looks. I mean, to be honest, I could take or leave the toy stuff, although it is quite interesting. But the game itself looked quite interesting. So.
That makes sense because the special edition that they keep pushing me to pre-order is it looks like it comes with a model R-wing, so
Mm. Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's some things there, but I mean, I was hoping for more surprises. To be honest, I was hoping, like a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
you had like, Shenmue 3, and you had, Final Fantasy 7 remake. Although we've made our opinions about that
yeah,
clear, but that's still nonetheless unexpected and exciting.
yeah.
Nothing like that really, is
No,
there?
although I don't know Shenmue 3. I don't know if we've got anything further on that. Have we? Is there a
They,
release date or anything? Or
no, there isn't a release date. It's been pushed back, if anything. And it's sort of, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's one of those things that is so hyped. It's gonna. I think it's gonna struggle.
yeah,
To be honest, I think there's gonna. Yeah, I don't know, but there have been things. There have been new like trailers and stuff coming out, so it is still being worked on. I think it will come to fruition, but whether or
yeah.
not it'll meet everyone's really high expectations, I don't know.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to come within the next year or so. That's
Mm.
why I imagine they're releasing the Shenmue 1 and 2
Yeah,
re-release. I don't know if to call them a remaster per se, but
it's no, it's a re-release. I think it's
it's
just
a
a
re-release.
straight release. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, to sort of give people, a year to play through both of those, I think is reasonable. They're quite chunky games, so
They are,
people,
yeah. You'll need a
with
fair chunk. You wouldn't want to have them all in one go, definitely.
no, so give people a chance to catch up on the story if they've never played
Mm.
it before, and then go straight into the third one. So I'm it's pure speculation on my part, but that's what I imagine the sort of time frame they'd be working to. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I heard 2019, but I think it's a bit up in the air.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Mm. Okay. Well, should we move on to what we've been up to lately? What we've been playing?
Yeah, I haven't been playing a great deal to be honest, because
Mm.
other than our book club game,
Mm.
which we'll talk about that when we get to that segment.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't played a great deal just because work's been really busy
Yeah.
and just real life getting in the way. To be honest, I
Yeah.
bought myself a little arcade fight stick.
Okay.
And I've been trying to learn Street Fighter Five.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which it's been interesting. It's a different experience playing it with a fight stick compared to the control pad.
Really, I do quite like the sound of that. I do.
Yeah,
As little time as I spent in the arcade, sadly, when they were around, I do like the idea of a proper fighting stick. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely feels like. I mean, the games were obviously designed for use of the
Mm.
fight stick, and it does make a massive difference playing it with a fight stick compared to a control pad. So, yeah, I've been having fun with that. I have had a bit because I chose a particular fight stick because it said it was compatible with PS4, PS3, Xbox, and Switch, and I bought
Okay.
the Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection for Switch, and I was
Yeah.
hoping to use it on that, but I cannot get it working on the
Oh,
Switch,
that's a shame. Oh,
and
that'd be
it's
amazing on that, wouldn't it?
yeah, and it's doing my
Ah.
head in. And to their credit, the company that sold it, they've been doing their best to help me, giving email support and telling me things to try, but. We've been trying different
Okay.
things for about a week now, and I just don't think it's having any of
Oh,
it.
that's so
So,
frustrating.
yeah, it's really
Mm.
frustrating. So, but yeah, that's basically been
Yeah.
my gaming
Just
since then.
I saw you been refurbishing consoles on
Yes,
Twitter. How's that
yes.
going?
It's going okay. I don't know how. Again, it's just the time. Work gets in the way of everything.
Yeah,
It
it's
really
yeah.
does. Um, but yeah, I like to buy sort of the grimiest, mistreated consoles I can find on eBay, and just
Yeah, I
try
mean
and
that PS1
oh,
you put on
it
Twitter, that was amazing. You did really well on that one.
it was a state, wasn't it? It was an absolute
Yeah,
state.
but that looks brand new now.
Yeah,
I was astounded.
yeah, I'm really pleased with how that came out. They don't always
Yeah.
come out that successfully,
Mm.
especially if there's sort of scratches into the plastic itself. There's not much you can do to sort of fix that really. But yeah, that one came out really well. I was really
Mm.
impressed. So
Mm.
yeah, the plan is to finish that one up, and then yeah, find a new home for it. Really.
Fantastic.
I just like it from a preservation standpoint.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that these consoles are there mistreated in the back of someone's garage, and they just end up on the landfill somewhere. I'd much
Yeah.
rather try and preserve them and tidy them up and find someone that would appreciate them really.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah, there's more. I got a whole bin of broken consoles behind me waiting to waiting to be done. So I got a job lot of like 10 Mega Drive 2s with
Oh wow.
faulty power connectors at the back. And 9 times out of 10, all you just need to resolder the power connectors on, and they're
Yeah.
good to go. So hopefully I'll get all those cleaned up and on their way as well. So um, yeah, it's a hobby. It's a fun little
No,
hobby.
it's a great hobby. Yeah. I wish I could do stuff like that. I'd like to sort of learn a bit because yeah, it'd be really good to sort of be able to kind of crack open one and just I'm not very good at soldering or anything, and I haven't done it since school, so I wouldn't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I'd like to have that skill definitely.
Yeah, it's worth buying some and just having an experiment. Really, just
Hmm.
experiment with it. I mean, you've got to be experiment on things that you don't mind breaking because
Yeah, definitely.
you will break things.
Yeah.
They don't always go to plan. But yeah, it's good fun to tinker with if you need a project to work on or
Hmm.
Yeah, or sometimes, I mean, even selfishly, if you want a console, you can buy a broken one for cheap, fix it up, and get it working, and you can save yourself a bundle
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it, isn't it? Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been up to gaming wise?
Well, we had the move and everything, so my Switch and PS4 are still packed up. Actually, I still haven't got around to getting them out. But I've had my trusty Pi to hand
Yes.
throughout. So I decided to get into a slightly bigger game, and I went for Chrono Trigger on the SNES.
Oh, nice.
So I made a start on that. I'm about 2.5 hours into that. Have you played this?
Yes.
It's good, isn't it? It's
It's
really good.
really good. It's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. It's a lovely little RPG.
Yeah.
It's sort of got a time traveling component. So you seem to, so far anyway, it seems to me you seem to be in the same space, but you throughout the story you go to different time periods.
Yeah.
Where different story events have taken place. I've just done the first one where you sort of go back in time and you kind of save the princess and that, and then I've come back to the present and I think we've just gone into the future. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
Excellent.
Um, yeah, it's I like how sort of the battle system is straightforward but satisfying. Like it doesn't sort of hold your hand and explain how this is how you do it like a modern game would, but
Yeah.
it's straightforward. It's clear enough.
It's one of
You know,
the best battle systems on the Super Nintendo, in my opinion.
yeah, it's really good. I like how you've got the time system, and you can wait for both of your two of your characters to be ready, and when they are, you can do like a double move. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Um.
I'm really enjoying that. It's one of those ones I'm excited to go back and play.
Yeah,
When
I was
we.
gonna say I'm gonna keep stum about it because it's one of those games where you really want to avoid spoilers.
Okay.
And I don't
Yeah.
want to. I really don't want to let anything slip. So yeah, I'm glad you're playing that. That's a really
Okay. I
really
don't
good
think I know
choice.
any spoilers, or if I have encountered them over the years, I've forgotten about them. So
Good.
yeah, I think I'm pretty fresh. So I'll stay away from looking it up or anything.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's the only game I've been playing really. But I did get my new graphics card this week.
Oh, excellent.
I've mentioned this before. I got a gaming PC a little while back. It didn't come with a very good graphics card, so I finally upgraded that. The main reason was to get sort of a nice resolution on some of the higher end emulators for things
Like Dolphin and things.
things like Dolphin and the
Yeah.
PS2 and stuff like that. And it works really well for that. The one I settled on is a GTX 1050 Ti Mini. I was sort of going to go for like an older one, like a second-hand one, but you don't know, what's happened to these, how much
Yeah.
stress they've been put on, how long they're going to last. So I went for like a new one. It didn't cost me too much, and it's a good compromise for price and sort of. I think it'll handle most things that I want to
I was
do
gonna
with it.
say,
To be honest.
I think unless you're doing sort of 4K
Yeah,
and 4K plus resolution gaming, then that's gonna be fine for
yeah.
most emulation tasks certainly.
Oh yeah, certainly, and it's good to. I mean, I don't have a lot of intensive Steam games.
Yeah,
I've got a fairly big library of sort of indie stuff, from Humble Bundles and stuff. I think everyone does, certainly. Um, but I've tried some of those. They work. They all work great. Sonic Generations, for example, runs absolutely flawlessly, 60 frames a second. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, I'm really impressed with it so
yeah,
far.
excellent.
Very happy. Yeah, it's good to know that if I want a game on Steam, I should be able to run it. Whereas before, I haven't had this before. It's always been a big question mark, and it probably won't run very well. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's good to sort of unlock that.
How well have you tried any Nintendo DS emulation on it?
Nintendo DS or 3DS?
DS.
DS. I think I tried a little bit before I even put the graphics card in. It seemed to run okay.
Excellent, excellent.
Why do you ask?
Because I have an idea for a book club game I'd like to cover
Oh,
at some
okay.
point, and it would, given you've said using an actual DS can be a bit of a strain on your eyes.
Yeah.
Emulation might be a good
Oh yeah.
accessibility route
No,
into it
I'm
there.
I'm totally
So
fine for a DS one on the old emulator. That's not a problem at all.
fantastic. Then I've got a game I'm very excited to cover at some point. Cool.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. I think it's my pick this month,
It is,
this
yes.
time, and then we can probably do that the following month as
Yeah,
well.
looking forward to it.
Okay, cool.
Speaking of which,
Yeah, that segues nicely into into the fireman, I think,
It
unless there's any
does.
other new business you want to cover.
No, I think we've covered what we need to for now. We'll take a
Okay.
quick break and then we'll be
Hmm.
back and discuss our book club game of the month, The Fireman.
All right.
Back in a bit. And we're back with the second half of our show, where we're going to be talking about our book club game of the month, I suppose.
It's kind of monthly at the moment,
It
isn't it?
is monthly at
Yeah.
the moment, it seems to be. The game we chose was The Fireman for the
Mm.
Super Nintendo.
Yep.
I think it's a fairly obscure game, to be honest. I don't know if there's many people who are familiar with it. But it's basically a top-down 2D. I wouldn't call it a simulation, but it's a firefighting game. You
Yeah.
play firefighters and you've got to tackle fires.
It's an odd one, isn't it? Because it doesn't really
Hmm.
fit neatly into a box. It's
No.
kind of it's a top-down action game, but it's not like you're fighting other enemies as such. You're fighting fires and different types of fire,
Yeah.
which are kind of the enemies.
They
But
kind
it's
of
got
act like enemies, don't they?
they do, but there's no antagonist as such.
No.
There's no actual bad guys in it,
No.
which is it's an interesting one. It's kind of like a sort of a positive message in a game. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's there's no it's just fighting fire really.
Yeah.
Which is
It's fighting fire with mundanely named Pete and Danny.
yes,
Um,
it's really weird, isn't it? They just Pete and let's just call them Pete and Danny.
Pete and Danny, and I, I, I find it that all the characters in the game. I don't know why I find it amusing, but they've all got really mundane, non-gamey names. Like there's Warren and Danny and Pete and
I know.
Winona, and there's
It,
just they're just really mundane names.
yeah, I know. I don't know what they should be called, but it just seems a bit jarring, doesn't it?
It does. There's a bit. I think it's the second level or third level. You
Yeah.
find a woman collapsed in one of the rooms, sort of engulfed by flames, and you save her, and she goes, "Oh, you've got to rescue my son. He's on the fourth floor." And I can't remember what his name is, but it's something like, he goes, "What's his name?" And she goes, "Oh, it's Barry Singleton," and they just give like this really mundane name and his surname as well. It's just
Yeah,
really,
yeah, like really specific.
as if his name was like Todd. How many Todds are there in the building at that time? Just Todd is enough. It's fine. It's
There's not
fine.
that many people still in the building anyway, is
No,
there really?
we'll find him. We'll work it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite charming. I just like
Mm.
the it's like I say, it's just charming. I think.
There is a charming quality to the game, definitely.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I've got some notes here,
sure.
just sort of technical ones. It's 1994 release,
It is. Yeah.
but it was only in Europe and Japan, which probably
Yes.
contributes to its slight obscurity.
Hmm.
And it's published by Human Entertainment. Are you familiar with these guys?
I know the name, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head
I know.
without doing a
I looked at
cheeky
their
Google.
well, I looked at their back catalogue. The only ones I recognised, well, Fire Pro Wrestling,
Oh yes.
and Clock Tower.
Oh yeah, I know Clock Tower.
Yeah, the name rang a bell. I don't know it. It's some sort of
If
survival horror,
it's a horror
apparently.
game, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
couldn't.
a
I
horror
couldn't.
game with one of the most amazing depraved intro sequences. I think it's Clock Tower 3 with a I'll have to send you a link. It's the most depraved, insane intro sequence to a game I've ever seen. It's amazing. It's really
Okay.
something special.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at this, you might spot things that you recognise. I didn't really.
Yeah,
So
looking
they're,
at it, I
they're
mean,
relatively
Fire Pro would be the main one that sticks out.
they're a relatively obscure developer, I would say.
Certainly in the West, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but developed and published. So they're not tiny, I guess, if they're publishing it themselves. Um, yeah, it's an expensive game.
Yes.
I found a loose price, maybe £150, and
Mm.
boxed. I think you're looking at 300 plus,
Yeah, it's pretty
something like
mental.
that. At least I think it's yeah. Unsurprisingly, we both emulated this one. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would like it in my collection, but I can't. I don't
It's
have that
just
kind of money.
no, no. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's
If
collectors.
I can find someone who will trade it for 10 broken Mega Drives, then
Yeah, you're
I'll be in
you're
business.
onto a winner there. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's set in 2010, which is the
Yes,
future, where
with,
I like.
with I was going to say, we're going to point out the same thing where society hasn't advanced much in the past 20
Yeah.
years.
Yes. I like that. There's something about that I really like. You know, none of these sort of iPhones or the internet or anything like
No,
that. It's pretty much the
it's
same.
just the same.
People still get caught in big fires in buildings, so that's all that matters. A Christmas party has gone wrong, basically, in this chemical company HQ, and a big fire breaks out in the building, and that's the basic plot really. And your team of firemen have been called in to put it out, and you've basically got to ascend the floors, I guess, haven't you,
Yeah.
to take down various increasingly difficult fires.
Well, yeah, you've got to ascend the floors to enact one of the worst firefighting plans I've ever heard, which is to blow up the water tower on the roof in the hope that the water will flow down and put out all the fires on the way.
That must be one hell of a water tower.
It's, I'm not sure the fire and rescue service would advocate that as a firefighting tactic,
Not
but
really. I mean, ideally, they should have more water to hand than they do in the water tower, I would have
yeah,
thought.
or
Wouldn't you?
a
I
few
mean,
a few extinguishers knocking about the place would be fine.
yeah. Well, anyway, that's their big plan,
Yeah,
and yeah, I must admit, I didn't complete the game. Did you?
I didn't complete it. It's quite a tough game.
Yeah, it is fairly tough. It's one of those that I got a little bit further each time though, and it
Yeah,
was quite satisfying. Even though
that
it's sort of, it's I think it's not a short game. I looked up playthroughs on YouTube. They last about an hour and 20 minutes, I think, the full
yeah,
game. So it's not, a quick 20-minute excursion. But yeah, it was one of those ones where, I played it and got to a certain place, and then I played it again, got a little bit further, and
yeah,
there's that reward thing where you just, oh, I just want to see how much further I get because you get a little bit better each time of fighting these fires. You've got two different types of spray. You've got like a long spray and a short spray to take out the sort of the fire just underneath you. So that was, it adds some element of strategy to it, I suppose.
yeah. I think it's
Uh,
if you're going to get far, you really need to know what to use and when, and switching quickly between them. I think, especially in the later levels where you're surrounded by different fire types at once, and
yeah.
getting used to switching between it and using the appropriate spray. I think is quite key.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few different mechanics. There's sort of the ducking mechanic as well, where you've got sort of fire that you can't put out that's sort of coming from pipes
Yeah,
just above you, and you have to kind of duck out underneath them, and sort of low, big pipes you just have to crawl under and stuff like that. So I think it's a simple game. Like
it is. It
I,
is.
I was really, I was when I was playing it, I was kind of hoping for a bit more puzzling. Like even
Yeah,
simple things like encountering a door that is locked and you have to go and find like a key panel to open it up again.
yeah. I know what you
Stuff like
mean.
that. It, it, Even simple things like that would make it just a little bit more interesting. Whereas it was pretty much follow a fairly linear route through. I mean, you go into rooms and it's not always immediately obvious which one. I mean, there's some sort of slight diversions and stuff. You go into the toilets at one point and stuff like that. But it was pretty much kind of fairly straightforward in terms
Mm.
of you didn't. I mean, you could access the exit once you got to it, and there wasn't. It was pretty much just a case of going around putting out the fires that you need to put out in order to get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did. That did surprise me. On my first playthrough of it was, like you say, you'd encounter locked doors, and your instinct is, oh well, I have to find a way to unlock that and come back. But
Mm.
it's not. It's just that's a locked door. You're not going through that. Go
Yeah,
somewhere else.
yeah, yeah,
And it's just like, oh, okay.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah, it is a simple game at heart.
yeah.
I think what I just found the actual gameplay mechanic of putting out the fires, it feels very satisfying, and I think it's just
Yes.
the feeling of it, and it just feels, like I say, it just feels satisfying to be putting out these fires, and the gameplay, is just a fun game to play, and I think that's what
Mm.
drives it forwards.
I agree. I was going to mention that exact same point. In the same way in Splatoon, when you've got the roller, it's quite satisfying to just run around
Yeah,
rolling everything. It's very similar, almost in reverse.
yeah,
You're kind of
definitely.
you're putting out these fires, and a lot of them aren't very challenging. They're just literally there on the floor, and you just have to put them out. But there is something quite nice about going around doing it. It's quite as stressful as a situation that these guys must be in. It is actually quite a relaxing game
Yeah, it
in a
is.
weird. If you once you've played it a couple of times, you know what you're doing. You can go through the earlier levels fairly easily.
Mm.
It's not a mentally demanding game. So I guess another one is again where I was just sitting there talking to Abby while I was doing it, and
Yeah,
having a conversation, and you can kind of sort of zone out a little bit
definitely.
once you've done it, a couple of times. So yeah, it's a nice little game. I just can't help but feel it could have been a little bit better with just a little bit more kind of what I would say puzzling. And there was also one case where that I think they were being chased up a staircase by the fire,
Hmm.
and I thought, well, that would be a good opportunity to sort of have a nice little chasing sequence where you have to sort of duck around different objects and move around
Yeah.
quickly and avoid it. But no, that was just completely automatic.
Yes.
And it's literally just lasted 2 seconds, and they sort of ran around these stairs and then went into the next room, and that
Then
was it. And I
that's
thought,
it.
I thought, oh, you could have done something really, really cool there.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's
Sonic Forces syndrome, where
yes,
they got into the, I forget what they call it. Was it null
oh
space?
yeah, the null space, yeah,
It's like you could have done something really good.
yeah,
There was an opportunity begging to be used
mm,
there, and
yeah,
it just wasn't taken up on. So
yeah,
yeah, I know exactly what you mean there.
yeah. I think there's some missed opportunities. So yeah, it's not a bad game at all.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it could have been a really good game potentially.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't like the music very much.
No,
It was very, very forgettable.
it was very forgettable. In fact, I mean, up until this point, every episode of the show that we've done, I mean, we've only done two so far, but the theme that we've used for the show has been an overclocked remix of whatever
Mm,
game we're talking about.
yes,
There are no overclocked remixes for the Firemen. No
no,
one's done any remixes of
I
it.
can't imagine there are. I can't
I don't
imagine
know what
anyone
I'm going
has.
to use for the music for this one, to be honest.
Yeah, Burning Rangers or something maybe.
I was thinking Burning Rangers or Ice Cap Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 3
Yeah,
because it sounds a lot like there used to be a firefighting drama on television called London's Burning,
right.
and Ice Cap Zone sounds exactly like the melody that they used for that.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I'll have to give that a listen. I
listen to them
haven't. I,
side by side, and yeah, it sounds very very similar. So,
if they want
um,
to be worried about getting sued for that,
yeah,
the whole licensing thing
the
around
old
Sonic 3
licensing
music.
thing.
But
Uh, but yeah, the music was very, yeah. I would say that would be the weakest point of the game, I think,
mm,
because it could have really done with some really memorable melodic, upbeat sort of action music in the background. I think would have
yeah.
really done wonders for the atmosphere of it. But
Oh, definitely.
it's
Yeah. As it
very
stands, it's
anemic
it's
music.
kind of this forgettable kind of
It's like a whine,
electric
but
guitar,
yeah,
kind of grinding, very repetitive.
yeah.
It's not very good, you know.
No, no.
It's just yeah, it's a shame. Graphics were nice chunky sprites. Nice sort of fire effects with the smoke, kind of hazy,
Yeah,
wavy effects. Quite nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice blue moustache on
Nice blue
Pete.
moustache. Yeah,
Yeah.
I noted that as well. For some reason, that the character who plays Danny has a blue moustache.
Is it Danny who's got the
I
blue
think it
moustache,
is
or is it
Dan. No,
Pete?
or no, maybe it's Pete.
I
I
thought it
think
was
you're right.
Pete who had the blue
Yeah,
moustache.
yeah. No, sorry, it's Pete. Danny is your sort of invincible
Yeah,
um, kind of companion who's constantly with you, and for some reason is able to put out fires just with an axe.
yeah. He just hits it with the axe,
He just hits it with an axe, yeah, and it
and
goes.
it goes.
Yeah,
Just like real life.
I think he just swings it, and it's got enough sort of air force from the air to just kind of put out the fires. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got an axe like that to hand, but I mean, I'd certainly want one.
They're amazing. You should get one.
Yeah, these fire putting out axes.
Well, I had the choice. I could go for the axe or the blue moustache. I chose the blue moustache myself. So
Yeah,
your mileage may vary, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. So the boss is again, it's all just fire, isn't it? So you
yeah.
just get like a sort of a fire boss that's just like an inferno that kind of wanders around, for the most part, and just sort of fires out various different other fires, and you kind of just have to keep spraying him, really.
The one boss I really didn't like was there's an area where you're walking across some grating and there's canisters sort of
Yes,
exploding beneath.
yes.
So frustrating because
I
it's so hard to predict where these canisters are going to be, and even
Oh, it
if
took me the longest time to realize that was even what was causing the explosions. At
I
first, it seemed like they were
know,
just happening randomly, and I was like,
yeah,
"Well, how the hell are you supposed to avoid these?"
and you
This is
don't move fast enough to avoid it. If you see one coming,
Yeah,
your standard sort of walking speed is so slow, you can't really avoid it, and it makes things that boss is so frustrating as a result.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What did you think of Warren? Is it Warren the architect? Was it
Um,
Frank Warren? Was it
which one was
Frank?
he?
I
Which one was
can't
he?
remember he's the architect. They get on they sort of get him on the telephone, and Pete just berates him throughout the game for how bad an architect he is. And
I
he's just constantly saying, "Where did you learn to be an architect? This building's terrible."
I think I only got to like the third level, I must admit.
Uh,
I don't know if that I can't remember. I think I saw a little bit on YouTube afterwards, and I think I know what you're talking about.
Frank Weller, that was his name, the architect, not Warren. I don't know where I got Warren from.
Okay.
Frank Weller, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
He just pops up and yeah, he just gets berated by Pete. It's amazing.
Yeah. Hmm. It's a fairly tough game, definitely.
It is,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I had a few goes on it. That's about as far as I could get. I think I ran out of time. I would like to have had a few more goes at it,
yeah.
just to see how much further. Yeah.
On the Wikipedia page, I noticed. We mentioned this towards the end of the last show, but there was a sequel. The
Yeah.
Firemen to Pete and Danny.
Hmm.
Which was on the original PlayStation, and I think it got a release on the PlayStation Store, but only in America and Japan.
Okay.
So I haven't been able to play that one.
No, no. Again, similarly, I looked that up. I had a quick look on YouTube. It looks kind of very similar. I think they have real voices this time, voiceovers. But generally, it looks very similar, sort of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind giving that a go as well.
Yeah, I'd like to give that a go. I think
Hmm.
I felt it could benefit a lot from an analog stick control,
Yeah,
especially from trying to aim the water hose. If that was
yeah,
given like a modern, it would be really good, like a twin stick shooter, really. So the right
yeah. It
analog
would that.
stick to move the fireman and the left analog stick to control the hose. I think would work really well.
I think that you could do a lot with that. Definitely, you could be a lot more creative with the fires. I think in that case, you could have them sort of, I don't know, appearing a lot more quickly than they do.
Yeah,
In a way, if you're a lot more mobile, and sort of can fire in different directions where you're running, I think that would make quite an interesting sort of take on the twin stick shooter.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. So
That's,
so
this
yeah.
is just an idea for an indie. Anyone indies listening, do a twin stick firefighting game.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
I was gonna
it's an
say
untapped market.
I don't know if if the Fireman 2 was released in 1995 according to Wikipedia.
Mm.
I think if there was going to be any more games in the series, they'd have probably cropped up by now. So it's going to be up to the indies to
I think
come
so.
up with that. I think.
Fireman's spiritual successor.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
I'd love to
mm.
see it. I'd back it on Kickstarter if anyone does it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good little game.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a try. Probably not worth a purchase given the
No.
price, but
No.
def worth an emulate certainly.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. If you've got the money, if you're the kind of person who can drop 300 notes on a fairly obscure 2D action game from the 1990s, then by all means buy it. But I think for the
Mm.
rest of us, then yeah, I think the developers themselves, if they were given the choice between nobody ever playing their game or letting people play it on an emulator, I don't think they'd object to people having
Well,
a quick go on an emulator, would they?
of course not. It's one of those situations where it's hardly going to make a difference to anyone, is it?
That's what I mean. Is
It's you can't, as far as I'm aware, you can't get it on any
there's
virtual
literally
console or
no
anything
way
like that.
to play it otherwise. So,
Yeah, yeah,
all in all, would you consider giving it a recommendation? Would you recommend it as a game to play for our lovely audience?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, I
why not?
think I
Why
would
not
too.
give it a go?
I give it a thumbs up. I think it's
Yeah,
a yeah, an underrated little gem.
yeah. To be honest, I think when we do these games, I think a lot of them we're probably going to end up recommending anyway, unless they turn out to be massively more disappointing than we were expecting.
Yeah,
I did,
yeah.
did maybe wonder, maybe we should occasionally just deliberately do like a really bad game, like Superman 64 or something,
Oh
just to
gosh.
see. I mean, it would be quite fun, just to see how bad it is.
Yeah, to see if it is as bad as if it deserves the reputation that it's got.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
We should bear those in mind. I think the bad games as well.
yeah.
Mm.
Which brings us up to your pick for our next book club game.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
So I'm
really
gonna.
interested. I've got no idea what this could be, so I'm quite interested to
Yeah.
hear.
Okay. Well, it's not going to be a bad game. It's
Okay.
going to be a fairly critically acclaimed game, I would think. So I think we're going to enjoy it. I'm going to jump ahead one generation. We're going to look at the PS1.
Okay.
We're going to look at a platformer.
Okay.
We're going to look at Klonoa, Daughter Phantomon.
Oh yes.
Have you played this
Brilliant.
one?
I love it.
Really? Okay. So
I love it.
I've played it a little bit, but so this will be a new experience for me. But hopefully another enjoyable experience for you.
Yes, you're in for a treat, and
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, you couldn't have picked a more appropriate game. I'm very pleased with that choice.
Brilliant. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to it actually. They also I downloaded it as well. They also did a re-release on the Wii.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, and I tried that on my new graphics card, and that runs. It didn't run very well before, but now it does. It runs really well. So
It's
I
a
think I'll stick with the PS1 original for this, but that's quite interesting because it's very it's not like a recreation. It's very faithful to the original one as
it
far as I
is.
can see.
It's a really good little remaster. It's a proper remaster. I think it's a
Mm,
really good version of it. And oh yeah, I'm gonna say that there's a lot I could say about Klonoa. So
okay, brilliant. Well, that should be a really good episode.
yeah, I hope it will be. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those. There's a few games in the series, I think, but they're not particularly. I think they're all quite expensive, aren't they? Klonoa games generally.
The first one. I
Yeah.
mean, it's still within the realms of affordability. I mean, if you wanted to
Mm,
get the first one, last time I checked was about you could pick it up for about 60 quid in good condition. So
okay.
it's only a snip above what it would have been originally. It's held its value quite well.
Yeah. Yeah.
The PlayStation 2 sequel, uh, Linettia's Veil, I think it's called
Mm,
Linettia's Veil.
okay.
That one you can. It was pretty cheap when I bought that a few years ago. I say a few years ago. It's about 15 years ago now, 10 years ago.
Mm.
I paid £25 for it, and I think it's probably still around that kind of mark if you shop around. So
Okay. I think I heard it was quite expensive, but I might be wrong.
The Wii version's creeping up in price,
Mm,
and some of the more obscure versions, the Game Boy Advance versions that they did. If you get those boxed and in good condition, then yeah, they're getting sort of more collector's value
yeah.
prices. But if you
Okay.
wanted to jump in with the Klonoa games, yeah, if you've got around 50 or 60 quid, you can get in on the action.
Mm. Yeah. It's. I think it's right up my alley by the look of it.
Yeah.
It's that sort of really nice platformer kind of 90s look to it, doesn't it?
It is. It's a perfect sort of 90s platformer. We're almost going into the episode already, so
No, okay. Yeah. We'll stop
we'll
there. Sorry.
stop because
We'll
yeah,
start wrapping it up.
that's a really good choice. I'm genuinely excited about playing that. So yeah, good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. Really looking forward to that one.
Okay, so shall we say another? We seem to be doing this monthly, so shall we stick with a monthly thing for the time being, unless something
That
crops
kind
up
of
and
works.
we need
Yeah.
to do it sooner? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think possibly Klonoa is a little bit longer if you're going to play the full game than the other two that we've done so far. So
Yes.
we'll need to make sure we've got enough time. I mean, I guess you completed it already anyway, have
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Okay, so all right, so I mean, you just need to refresh your memory on it, really. I guess I'll um I'll crack on and get as far on it as I can, and yeah, we'll reconvene, in a month or so.
fantastic.
All right.
Okay, well, I think we'll do that as a wrap for now then. Is there anything else we need to add?
No, not really.
No.
I think we're all good for this month.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Pod'em Up. You can find us on Twitter at Pod'em Up, and you can email us podemup@gmail.com,
Yeah.
and you can find us wherever good podcasts are hosted.
Yes. Only good ones though,
Oh
not
no,
the
no,
bad ones.
not the bad. No, no, you know the ones I mean. You don't. Not those. Not
Not those.
those.
Stay away from those kids.
Oh gosh. But yeah, okay. So we'll see you next show, and thank you.
All right. See you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.